Hey everyone, and welcome to Fatter Wallet's Book Summaries. Today, we are tackling a big one, Stephen R. Covey's First Things First. And let me tell you, this isn't just another book about time management. It's really about life management. You know that feeling when you're constantly busy but not actually productive? Or maybe you've hit all your goals, you're successful, but you just don't feel fulfilled. Yeah, if that sounds familiar, then you're going to want to stick around for this. All right, let's just kick things off with this image from Covey, because it hits so hard. I mean, this just perfectly captures a modern tragedy, doesn't it? You do everything you're supposed to do. You get the degree, you burn the midnight oil, you climb that corporate ladder, and then you finally get to the top, look around, and just feel empty. It's that gut punch realization that maybe, just maybe, your ladder has been leaning against the wrong wall this whole time. And that feeling, that emptiness, really gets to the core of what Covey is talking about. He calls it the unfulfilling race. It's this huge problem where so many of us, smart, capable, hardworking people, feel this giant disconnect, this gap between what we say is important to us and how we actually spend our days. Sound familiar at all? That feeling that your life is kind of being lived for you, not by you? You're just constantly putting out fires, right? Responding to the next email, the next crisis, the next demand, and you never, ever get to the stuff you know would actually move the needle. Covey has this great phrase for it. He says we're caught in the thick of thin things. It's all just reaction, reaction, reaction. No real intentional action. And here's what's so tricky about it. The problem usually isn't choosing between a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, that's pretty easy, right? No, the real battle is choosing between a good thing and the best thing. We're just drowning in good options, good projects at work, good opportunities, good things to do with our time. But Covey points out that so often all that good stuff gets in the way of the truly best stuff. So, what's really going on here? What's the root cause? Well, it's definitely not a lack of effort. We're all working hard enough. Covey argues that we're actually suffering from an addiction to urgency. Think about it. Our whole culture rewards being busy, being in crisis mode, being fast. It creates this constant buzz of anxiety and stress. And the solution isn't just to pedal faster. It's to get off the bike and find a new way to travel. And this next idea, this illustrates the problem perfectly. Covey says our core beliefs about how we manage our time, our paradigms, they're like maps. And if you're trying to get to Detroit, but you've got a map of Chicago, well, it doesn't matter how great your car is or how fast you're driving, you're just going to get to the wrong place faster. Working harder with the wrong map is totally pointless. And you can literally feel the difference. I mean, just look at this. When you're stuck in that urgency mode, what are the words you use? Stressed out, used up, worn out, unfulfilled. Now, look what happens when you shift to an importance mindset. Confident, on track, fulfilled, peaceful. It's a night and day difference, right? That feeling of peace, that's the destination. And the paradigm of importance is the map that gets you there. Okay, so how do we find the right map? How do we make that shift? Well, this is where Covey brings in this brilliant idea of moving from the clock to the compass. It's not about managing minutes and seconds anymore. It's about finding your direction, your true north, which is based on principles that don't change. And this is such a key point. You know, practices, techniques, the latest productivity hacks, they all change. They go out of style. But principles? Things like integrity, honesty, compassion, those are timeless. They're like true north on a compass. They don't move. And if you can get a handle on those principles, you can handle pretty much any situation, any challenge that life throws at you. And the cool thing is, we're actually built for this. We have what Covey calls our 4 human endowments. It's like our built-in toolkit for living by principles. We've got self-awareness, so we can step back and look at our own thoughts. We've got a conscience, that little voice that connects us to what's right. We have creative imagination to dream up better ways of doing things. And we have independent will, the power to actually do something about it. This is how you get off autopilot. It's all about what he calls the law of the farm. Think about it. You can't fake a harvest, can you? You can't just slack off all spring and summer, then pull an all-nighter in the fall and expect to have a field full of corn. It just doesn't work that way. And our lives, our character, our relationships, they work the same way. They follow the law of the farm. They need patient, consistent work. There are no shortcuts, no quick fixes. Okay, so that's the big picture philosophy. But what about the practical side? How do we actually do this? Well, this leads us to Covey's most famous tool, the the time management matrix. And trust me, getting your head around this is a total game changer. It's all about shifting your focus to one incredibly powerful area. So here it is. The idea is that everything we do can fit into one of these 4 boxes. Quadrant I is your crisis box. It's urgent and it's important. Most people spend their lives bouncing around in here. Then you have quadrant 3. This is the worst one. It feels urgent, but it's not actually important. Covey calls this the quadrant of deception, because you feel productive, but you're really just spinning your wheels on other people's priorities. The real revolution, the magic, is shrinking those 2 quadrants by spending way more time in quadrant 2. That's the stuff that's important, but not urgent. This is where the real work happens. Planning, prevention, building relationships. This is the heart of living an effective life. And this right here, this is the fundamental shift in thinking. See, most time management systems are all about prioritizing your schedule. How can you cram more stuff in? But Covey's approach flips that completely. It's not about prioritizing your schedule. It's about scheduling your priorities. You figure out your big quadrant 2 priorities, your big rocks, and you put those on your calendar first. All the other little stuff, the sand and gravel, will just fill in the cracks around them. When you boil it all down, this entire framework is really about one thing: empowerment. It's about moving from being a victim, feeling like life just happens to you, to becoming the conscious creator of your own life. It's about realizing that you are always, always in the driver's seat. And this leads to what might be the most powerful idea in the whole book. It's this: between what happens to you, the stimulus, and how you react, the response, there's a little space. And in that space, that's where your power is. That's your freedom. In that tiny moment, you can use those human tools we talked about to choose your response, instead of just letting your mood or your old habits take over. So think about what that really means. It means when we blame things, our boss, the traffic, our childhood, for our situation, we're actually making a choice. We're choosing to hand our power over to those things. Real proactivity, real freedom, starts the moment you accept 100% responsibility for your life. Because at the end of the day, your life is just the sum of all your choices. So let's wrap this up with a question that brings it all right back home to you. Just take a second and think about one really important relationship in your life. Now, what is one thing you could do, a quadrant 2 thing, so it's important but probably not screaming for your attention, that you know would make a huge positive difference in that relationship? I bet you already have an answer. Your conscience knows. So the only real question left is, are you going to choose to put that on your schedule? Fatter wallets.